Welcome to the General Savings Plan spreadsheet project for Math 108. The goal here is to look at how savings plans truly operate in terms of both principal and interest, and so we're going to look at it from three angles. We call these the iteration method, and that's where we will take a look at progression of our balances on a month-by-month basis. Then we're also going to be looking at the formulas method, where we have a lump sum formula combined with a payments formula. And then finally, the Excel function is a nice approach because it allows us to use a much quicker built-in function called FV, which is referring to future value. And so you're going to really appreciate it after we go through some of the hard steps in the first two methods. And it'll give you a greater insight, having done it all three ways, to truly get a feel for how your savings plan operates. Okay, so I'm going to switch over here to my template, and with that big picture in mind, I want to get us going on with the actual mini case study. So Ryan Lancaster is a BYU Idaho sophomore. He has $1,000 that he's going to put in initially as his lump sum, we call that, and that jump starts the account earning interest right from the beginning. We're going to compound 12 times per year, and I'm going to type in 0.07 for the case study's APR. Let me take that as an opportunity to show you three different ways you could get that 0.07 to be formatted differently. One obvious way is to turn it into a percentage, and oftentimes in your toolbars you'll find a percent icon somewhere there, and if it's not there, you can actually customize your toolbars to show it. So I'm going to click on the percentage, but you'll notice it's rounding to the nearest whole number, so you might consider using your decimal tools, and this one on the left allows me to increase the number of decimal places. So that's a good skill, but there are two other ways that I know of that would be very nice to realize that you can customize by taking advantage of your format menu. You can customize any cell in terms of the look and feel. So I'm going to click on Format and drop down to Cells. And when you do that, you will get a nice pull down or menu, kind of a dialog box where you can click on the number and see what kind of number it's suggested to be, and whether it has, say, separators every 1,000. Your number of decimal places can be moved up and down. Percentages, the moment you click on that, of course, it would treat it as a percentage. A third method that I like is the right-click method on the mouse. By right-clicking, you get to the same exact pull-down menu, Format Cells, and you approach it the same way. So those are three different skills to have in terms of formatting any cell on your spreadsheet. Let me review those one more time. The right click is a great way, and then drop down Format Cells, customize it however you need to. Simply going up to the Format menu, and after you've clicked on the cell, of course, hit Format and Cells, and you're there. And finally, don't forget, you oftentimes have nice little icons such as the percentage icon there that allows you to convert it to a percent and then control your decimals. So Ryan Lancaster, in addition to jump starting his account with $1,000 as principal, he also has set a goal to put in $50 each month. So I'm going to type in $50 there. If I want to allow for cents, I could, of course, increase the decimals. That's totally your call. Same could be done with principal as far as that goes. Now, in the body of the savings plan, what we might want to consider doing here is first building a few months, going from 1 on down to, we want to get down ultimately to 36. So I'm going to show you two quick ways to accomplish this. Straightforward way is just to type in 1, 2, 3, 4, but you'll get tired of doing that. So after you've typed in a few, what you could do is highlight those months, get the on the right-hand bottom corner, the black crosshair, click and drag it, and you'll be able to drag all the way down and accomplish 36, and that's pretty powerful. I'm going to undo that with a Control Z on the keyboard, and show you another way. This has its advantages as well, to know that you can type a 1 in, and right below the 1 do equals, click on the month before, and simply add 1 to it. So a very straightforward formula, and then you would click and drag with the black crosshair and accomplish the same thing. Pros and cons to both approaches. Let me double click that so you can see what's really happening at any point in the sequence. If I just double click, I can see that it's simply adding 1 to the previous month. Pretty easy. Okay, and then let's get started on row 1 before concluding this introductory tutorial. On row 1 or month 1, I want to take and bring this $1,000 right straight down into principal. So that's called a cell reference. I'm going to hit equals on the keyboard and click right up here, or I could hand type it. And when we see a D3, of course, that's referring to column and row. So cell D3 is located right there where the $1,000 is. When I hit enter, it moves it right down. Notice it keeps its formatting. Since I'd asked for it to be to 2 decimals or the nearest penny, it's doing it right there as well. Pretty nice. Now the first month's worth of interest is going to be pretty straightforward. It's just going to be interest on that principal only. So I'm going to start an equation, as I always do. Any formula in Excel is going to need an equation, or an equality symbol rather, right at the beginning. So I hit equality, then I click on the $1,000, I multiply it by the APR, and I need to do something to that APR, but I'm going to, for now, just divide it by 12, and we'll talk about what else we need to do to it in the second tutorial. When I divide by 12, that's going to convert it to the amount of interest that I would obtain in 1 month with $1,000. I'm going to double click that to show you for a review. I just took C9, which is principal, multiplied it by APR divided by 12. And we're dividing by 12 to convert it to a monthly interest rate. And finally, the payment is going to be a cell reference straight back to the payment cell. That's easy. And with the total being a nice little summation. So I'm going to do an SUM formula for sum and a left parenthesis. I'll show you a quicker way a little later on. When I click carefully and drag over the 3 items, you'll notice it gives me cells C9 colon E9. The colon just tells you everything in between. Now, many times you don't even have to close it up with the right parenthesis. Excel knows that you want to finish it out, and so I'm just going to hit enter here and see if it works. And it does. But be aware that sometimes you may have to still close it up with the right hand parenthesis regardless. So that $1,055.83 should match what is on the screenshot of our project. And more importantly, what it truly represents, by double clicking I'll show you, it represents the summation of principal and interest and that payment that was made at the end of the month. And that's called an ordinary annuity when the payment is made at the end of whatever period you're using, in this case the end of the month. Alright, well thanks for taking a look at our introductory tutorial. Hopefully it'll help you to get a jump start into the project.